Hey guys, so the book that I read for our podcast was The Girl in the Blue Coat by Monica Hesse. It is a historical fiction book set in Amsterdam during World War II. So basically what this book is about is this college-age girl named Henneke. They call her Henny for short. She is working for the black market and the resistance during World War II. And she works with an undertaker named Mr. K, who sells the dead people's ration cards in order to get money to buy these black market goods. So that's what Henny does. She takes the ration cards and then she gives them to the black market company store. I don't know. Anyways, so she gives it to them. Then they give her things in exchange like real coffee, sugar, cigars for her clients. And one day she's making a delivery, and one of her clients, Mrs. Janison, asks her for some help. And Henneke's like, oh, she probably just wants like more coffee or cigars for her husband or something, She thinks it's any other normal delivery. No, it's not. Mrs. Janison asks Henny to find a person. And Henny at first is like, why do I need to find a person? Like, what? Who have you lost that I need to find? Like, are you okay? And it's not just any normal person. It's a 14-year-old Jewish girl named Miriam Rodevelt. And Mrs. Janison has been hiding her in a secret room in her house. And Miriam has now suddenly disappeared. No one knows where she is. And at first Henneke's like, no. Like, I'm already in enough danger as it is with doing what I do for Mr. K, which she doesn't tell her all this, but what she's thinking, and she doesn't want to risk her financial security of her and her parents because she lives at home and her parents don't even know what she does. They just think that she's Mr. K's secretary. They don't know anything about like the black market or what her real job is. They have no idea. And she doesn't want to risk her safety or their financial security, and she doesn't want to risk it. So she tells her no. And then the next day she comes back because she's thought about it all night, and she's so intrigued by this idea of like, so you're telling me all these other times I've come over, you've had a girl living in your house and I didn't even know. And so she asks Miss Janison to tell her everything that she needs to know, and Henny agrees to help her. That night when Henny gets home, her boyfriend's brother, Oliver, is at their house. They call him Ollie. And he's another one of our main characters. And Henny has not seen Ollie in 3 years since the funeral of her boyfriend because he died on the front lines when the Nazis invaded Germany. So she hasn't seen him. She has no idea what he's doing here. And he asked her to go to this supper club. And she's like, what do you, supper club? What? And her parents are like, oh, go, like, you should have fun, like, you don't go anywhere anymore, like, go have fun, be a kid, or woman, I don't know, anyways. And so Henny agrees to go, really against her will, she agrees to go, and when she gets there, she finds out that it's not a supper club at all. It's another black market resistance group, not black market resistance, oh my gosh, it's another underground resistance group, and they are all trying to figure out ways to help the Jewish people, and two of the girls in the group are Jewish, and their uncle is a part of the council, so that's how they help the most. And the girls' names are Sane and Mina, and they're cousins, and they are, I wouldn't call them main characters, I would call them more like major, minor characters. But anyways, Mina is younger than Sane, and Mina is also a photographer. She takes pictures of the underground and the resistance. She works at the nursery, which is right across from the transport center where they take Jews before transport. So she takes pictures of all that. She takes pictures of like the babies and their families, hoping that one day she'll be able to reunite them. She really does a lot, and throughout the course of them trying to find Miriam, they discover that that every one of them have more in common than they think that they do. Because at first everyone's like, we don't know this random girl that Ollie just brought to our secret supper club where we really don't even eat supper. We just talk about the resistance. But they learn that they all have more in common than they do. So now that the storyline and the characters have been established, the theme of this book is hope. And it's that hope is essential to surviving for anyone and everyone, especially during this time. They're all hoping that they'll find this missing Jewish girl. Henny is hoping that nothing bad happens to them in the process, and everyone is hinging on this little itty-bitty thread of hope that they all have, that things are going to work out, that D-Day is going to come, and yeah, they're all trying to be so hopeful that everything is going to work out, and they're really, for what they're going through, they're an optimistic bunch. They really are. And now for the review. This book was a really, really good book. It was one of the most interesting period pieces that I've ever read, especially for that time period. So if you like to read period pieces, this would be a good book for you. But if you find it hard to follow a storyline with twist and a bunch of characters, major or minor, this might not be the book for you. And that was really my thoughts on it. But like I said, period pieces are not for everyone. Not everyone is as much of a history geek as I am, who likes to read these kind of books. So yeah, and another book that I would compare this to would be The Diary of Anne Frank, which is, again, another period piece set in the same time period, and it is a nonfiction book. It's actually a diary of Anne Frank, and they go through a lot of not a lot, but they go through some of the same things, especially Anne and like Miriam. They have a lot in common. They were both in hiding, and then they both like kind of disappear, and yeah, but it's a good book.